Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a foundation review and wear test, and I am going to be reviewing the Ordinary Serum Foundation. The Ordinary re-released this foundation. I think it's back by popular demand. I never tried the original, but it was always on my list to try. So when I saw that they were re-releasing it, I had to pick it up. I had to try it for myself. So in today's video, I will be applying this foundation with you nice up close and personal. Then I'll be doing a check-in outside in natural daylight, inserting in some swatches, comparing the shade that I have to some other shades in my collection. Then coming back at the very end of my day, 8, 10, 12 hours later, and just giving you my overall first impression thoughts. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let me zoom you in and we're gonna get started. All right, let's get started. As always, I don't have any kind of primer on. I only have my skincare and sunscreen. That is it. So here is what the box looks like. Now this does retail for $7.50, which is, I think, one of the most affordable foundations I've ever tried. So for it to come in a box, I think is okay. I mean, I could have done without the box, quite honestly. The packaging is a little bit, nothing to write home about, but I appreciate that it at least has a pump. It is your standard 1 fluid ounce, and it comes in 36 shades. I picked up the shade 1.2N. It was a little bit difficult to shade match myself online. We're gonna give this a shot. Hopefully it's okay. But yeah, let's see. I've heard good things about the old formula, and it was always on my list to pick up. I just never actually did it. So the directions say to shake well and apply with your fingers. So that's kind of what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just kind of spread it in my fingers. I don't love finger application, but since that's what it says to do, that is what I'm going to do. And it feels a little bit oily, but I think that this is a water-based foundation. Now, this does claim to be good for all skin types, and it's supposed to be a medium coverage with a real skin finish, which I'm assuming is their way of saying a natural finish. It is spreadable, but like that little bit only got my forehead. I probably could have sheared it out more. I'm gonna pump a little bit more. Now, as far as my skin type, I do have normal, leaning dry skin. I can get oily in my T-zone, but for the most part, I'm pretty normal, I would say. At my age, my skin has really settled down, and my main skin concerns are enlarged pores on my cheeks. I can get the occasional breakout, but I don't really break out too much anymore. Nothing I'm like super concerned about. It did spread really easily, very quickly. And they did call out on the website, I do just want to point out that it is compatible with most primers. I wanted to at least say that. I just don't use a primer for the first time that I'm trying a foundation, just to kind of get a baseline. And the reason I don't like fingers is because I always feel, first of all, my fingers feel gross. And second, I just always feel like there's kind of like unblended spots. There, and it feels like it dries down almost to a powdery finish, like a velvet finish, I guess is how I would describe that. I'm trying to see, because like it feels like on my nose it's looking a little bit dry, kind of like it's maybe clinging to some dry patches. But the rest of it does look really natural, really skin-like, and I would say that it's actually pretty decent coverage, not like a super light skin tint or anything like that. I was gonna go over it with my sponge. I dampened it just in case, but I don't think I need to. And I want to really give this the best shot that I can. I don't mind this. I mean, you can still see my dark circles, so it's not like it covered that up too well. Okay, okay. I'm liking how this looks so far. I mean, this was a pretty quick application. I have no complaints so far. So let me just go off camera, finish up the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be back to kind of give you my very first impression thoughts once this is kind of settled in and all that good stuff. Rest of my makeup is on, and as far as what's important for the longevity of the foundation, I actually decided to do zero powder. So I only did cream bronzer, cream blush, even under my eyes, I decided to use a color corrector, and I didn't even set that. I have no highlight. Everything that I'm wearing is always listed in the description box below, but I just felt like this needed really light, fresh, everyday kind of makeup. So that's what I decided to go with. I really like how this looks. It feels set down. Like I said, when I was applying this with my fingers, it kind of dried down to a very velvety finish. And that's why ultimately I decided not to powder. Also, just like around my nose a little bit, it seems like it's clinging to dry skin, which I normally don't notice. So I felt like powder might maybe emphasize that. If it looks like this all day, I will be in love. Like, this will be a great everyday lightweight makeup look without looking very heavy, but still giving coverage. I'm very happy with how it looks. I just want to see the longevity. We'll see how much it really resists my oils coming through, because that does happen throughout the day for me, especially in my T-zone. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this so far. Loving it right now, but having a little bit of some apprehension towards how it's gonna wear. But this is where we're at right now. I am gonna go about my day. Of course, my foundation review days are usually my chore days, so I have a lot to go do. So this is where I'm gonna leave you for now, and I will check in with you all in about 4 hours outside in natural daylight. All right, it has been 4 hours. I'm now outside. Here is what the foundation's looking like. I did potentially take a nap outside because it is such a beautiful day, and it just felt like a nice day to do a sun nap. So that's what I did. I did put my glasses on also because my contacts were just really bothering me, and I did notice that the foundation was collecting here with my glasses. That's on me though, because I didn't powder at all. And for not powdering, I think that the foundation looks pretty good actually. I'm gonna try and turn so you can see it more in the sunlight. It's hard to tell what's better for you to see, but the foundation hasn't really moved other than just looking a little bit shiny, which is normal for me, specifically in the T-zone. My cheeks look pretty good. They actually don't look terrible for no powder. I'm happy with what it looks like. I think my skin looks really natural still, and I'm happy with where we're at for the halfway mark. I have no complaints. I'm thinking, you know, if it holds like this, maybe this is just a foundation where I do need to powder in my T-zone. But if you have dry skin, maybe you don't want to. So yeah, I mean, ignore around my eyes. I'm sure my mascara is like semi-running. I don't know if it is because of like the pollen and stuff that my eyes are bothering me or something else, but they just are, and it's not worth the hassle of keeping contacts in when I could just throw my glasses on. So yeah, that's where we're at. I don't see anything emphasized. I'm just a little bit shiny, and that's pretty typical for me with any kind of foundation. So it's not something that I'm super concerned about. It's, you know, a blot situation, and that's about it. So this is where I'm gonna leave you for the check-in. I'm gonna insert in my swatches right about now, and then I will see you in another 4 to 5 hours. All right, it is the end of the day. It's actually been a little over 10 hours now. And I have to say, the foundation looks good. I do think it needs some adjustments. I think that I definitely need to powder. I was hoping that this was gonna kind of be a foundation that I could really wear on light coverage days, like that no makeup look, but still get the coverage that I want. That's kind of what I was hoping this was gonna be, but it's just a little bit gets a little too shiny for me. Now I will say it hasn't broken apart or anything. So for being a serum foundation, I think that's really nice. I even mentioned like here where my glasses were resting, it was collecting, but now you can't even see that anymore. It kind of like completely melted into my skin. So it did wear away naturally, and I like that. I would much prefer that than a foundation start to look really patchy and splotchy. I think it just looks like I've been wearing the foundation for quite some time. I do just want to blot a little bit while I continue to talk, because all day I have to resist kind of touching up the T-zone. The shade I think is very, very close to what I need, but I do think it's a little bit light, only because it felt like it was sitting on top of my skin around my mouth. And usually when I feel that way, it's either actually doing that or the shade's too light and you can really notice the foundation on your skin. So I'm chalking it up to the shade because it looks like mask-like around my mouth, and that doesn't have any bronzer or blush or anything like that. It looks so nice though, now that I touched it up, especially for 10 hours. I mean, like you can still see the skin on my nose poking through. It definitely wore away. I'm overall very impressed with this foundation though, especially for $8. You can't get better than that. I can see why so many people loved it for being so affordable and looking so nice. There's just some tweaks that I want to do to make this better, and I will do that. I will test this out in different ways and then come back to you, do a foundation roundup with all the foundations I've tried recently and tell you the best ways that I found for it to work for my skin. I can't speak on if it would be good for all skin types, but I do think that you could make it work if you had extremely dry or extremely oily skin. You probably would just need to pair it with the correct primer, but I could see it working for different skin types. So I think that's really, really nice. I mean, for $8, like you could try it, right? Like no one wants to waste their money, but I feel like it's a little bit different when you're spending $8 versus $80 on a foundation to just try. I am pleasantly surprised. I was expecting to like this foundation, but I wasn't expecting it to feel so lightweight and natural on my skin. It really felt like throughout the entire day that I wasn't wearing any makeup other than my eyes just like really, really bothering me for some reason. My face though, my skin, like you can still see the complexion products just a little bit, and I only put cream on, so I think it held up the products really well. I have no complaints other than my oily T-zone and my very, very sensitive eyes. The foundation though, I think is a winner. I would like to potentially pick up a shade up or two. Like I think this will work in winter time, but in summertime, this is definitely gonna be way, way too light for me. I can use it as a mixer, but I don't love doing that. I kind of just do that to use the foundation. After that, that's really kind of all of my thoughts. I don't want to just go on and say the same thing in just a different way. I'd rather keep this video pretty short and brief. I would love to know down below if you've tried this foundation, if you've also tried the old version, because I can't compare it to that. I never tried the original version, so I don't know if the two match up, if it's the same great formula that everyone raved about beforehand. So I would be really interested if you did try the original and this new one, what you think of it. Always let us know your skin type down below so you can just help out other people in the comments. If they have the same skin type as you, it's always very helpful. After that though, this is where I'm gonna leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.